I thought to talk also a little bit about frustration as I'm rubbing the truth under your nose. Well, some people, when they're frustrated, they're going to reproach someone else, so probably you will reproach me a lot. Um, but as I'm doing this, I also thought let's maybe give some of my experience with frustration, but you don't have to listen to it. Everybody has their own character in it, but still, I thought to give some ideas. Um, there is this saying in Dutch: in der Beschränkung zeigt sich der Meister. If something is really very important, sometimes you can find a solution. You go through the wall within limited possibilities and still you find a solution. I experienced it at home. I was looking for something to pull my arm rightwards, but for 2 years I couldn't find any solution in my house until I saw some handles and a rope and a weight, and if I looked very well I could assemble something that I could really pull my arms sidewards, as I couldn't go to a fitness. They were much too strong instruments, and it was not possible for me. And very important. So that's my experience. Another thing, small annoying things can become routine. Some colleague once said to me, 11 times you do something, it becomes a custom. And then not so frustrating, and no longer frustrating. And I experienced that some time ago when I had to walk very slowly and I had to take care nobody would bump into me. So when I went to the subway and I would take the normal stairs, it was much too dangerous. So I had to move at my very, very slow pace, 50 meters, 60 meters further for stairs. It was super frustrating for 4 or 5 days, and afterwards I noticed I just went to the stairs without thinking about it. So I think it's true for small things. Routine can make it no longer frustrating. Then another thing, I'm no positive person, always thinking the positive about everything, but still there might be some positive effects. For instance, many people don't like to do exercise, to do sports, but still they eat too much food and they are not so healthy. But it's very difficult to really do some sports or do a diet. It's very, very hard on them. But if it's necessary for this problem to eat less meat and to go on foot or by bike, you just have to do it for your transport. Then it's much less difficult because you have to do it for those other reasons, and then you have the benefits of being able to eat a little more and to move for your transport, so you don't have to go sporting or other things, and still you'll be healthier. That might be a positive effect. A second one I was thinking about is that many CO2 free activities could be very creative ones. In the beginning it gives more frustration and effort, like learning something, drawing something yourself, singing, doing some theater, other things. But the result is much more a satisfied feeling when it starts going well, and much more satisfying than just consuming something. So being creative yourself is often much more satisfying. And so that could be a positive effect. And also for people liking these things, they will get other jobs, because we will need a lot of focus on reusing things, restoring things. So people who like repairing things, they might have other jobs than now. That's the idea, that it might be some positive effects also from this other way of doing things, CO2 with less CO2. But sometimes it's also just choosing between the plague and cholera. So you might think of Gaza, Sudan, Ukraine, Syria, and you think all the time, I don't want that, I don't want that, and you continue with the courage of despair, as we call it in Dutch. I don't know if it says in English. I experienced it many times, and then you can keep on doing things and endure things for much longer, because if you give up, the situation will be a lot worse. So that's the courage of despair against frustration. The most difficult and super frustrating thing are when you have to miss out on things that you really like to do. So, and temporarily you can't do them anymore. One trick I found was to try to forget about it for a while. And then having hope that a solution will come about and that you will be able to do it again. And that is also a big motivation to do your best in your job, anywhere where you are, where you can find those solutions for other people, maybe for things that are important for them or for yourself. So if you work in a public service company for transport, make sure it is giving the most possibilities to everybody to move about, or finding solutions for energy efficiency in your company, anything to do your best so that the things you have to miss out on maybe become possible again. In this sense, I also think that people with a disability should be allowed to consume more CO2, because their lives are already very frustrating, in the sense that they have to suffer and endure things for a long time already. So for me, they can do more CO2, and that's also, in that sense, it could be something to help your frustration if at some moment things become emotionally so bad that we can allow some CO2 eruption, as we have been doing our best every day for a long time. So giving yourself a break now and again, but that would be one break in 6 months or something, not the other way around. And then another trick is, yes, that's true, if you instead of thinking all the time about the things that you miss out and that you want to do, you just forget about it, and you take this thing as your goal, as a kind of hobby, or your task for a long time. That helps to go for it completely. That also becomes less. Anytime you can do that, it's much less frustrating. And then ultimately, against frustration, is just persevere, endure. And in a way, I can also say you sit on the blisters because you have been dragging on for way too long. We know about it a very long time already. So then we have to take it now. That might be more difficult than if we would have started some time ago. So we have to give it the highest priority.